Hi, I'm Christine Adams. I'll be doing family medicine in North Carolina starting this June.
And I will be going into family medicine and I'll be practicing in Georgia. So the purpose of this talk is just to give you guys a little bit of helpful tips in different areas on how to be successful in high school and college, and if you choose to do any healthcare professional program as well, to give you information on that. So Patricia, can you tell us a little bit about volunteer opportunities for middle and high school students?
So as you're getting ready for college, it's important to get involved in your community, and you guys can start doing that in middle school and in high school. You can volunteer at your church, you can volunteer with organizations such as Feeding South Florida, which makes food bags and packages for the less fortunate. You can also, if you're a junior or senior, volunteer at the hospital. You'll be introduced to a clinical setting at an earlier time. So just making your application as competitive as possible for college.
Mm-hmm. And just to segue into just talking about how to be successful in high school, it's always important to try and make honor roll, if not that, straight A's while you're in high school. Easy way to get free money in college is to have a great GPA. So like example for me, I graduated with a very high GPA in high school, so I have a full ride scholarship to FAMU. So I did not pay for anything in college. So good grades equals free money, and free money makes your parents happy. And I'm also going to talk about the FAMU FAU Medical Scholars Program, which I am a product of. So the FAMU FAU Medical Scholars Program is a pipeline program between FAMU and FAU where we recruit students out of high school for those that are committed into becoming medical doctors. So if you meet the same criteria to get a full ride scholarship at FAMU, you also meet the same criteria to be admitted into this program. And the whole purpose of this program is to increase diversity at FAU's College of Medicine. So you will be introduced into how to be a professional in medicine. You also have opportunities to shadow local doctors in the area, and also just to get prepared for the life that you'll be having as a medical student. So yeah, Patricia, can you talk about the George Snow Scholarship?
So I became a George Snow Scholar. So if you are a Palm Beach County resident, you can apply for the George Snow Scholarship straight out of high school as long as you have a good GPA, you have good volunteering on your application, and they will cover partial or sometimes full amount for college. And I also was a George Snow Scholar for medical school as well, and they paid for a portion of my medical education.
Mm-hmm. So I was a little bit different where I went out of state for college, but again, like Michelle had said, a good GPA takes you a long way. And so because I had a good GPA, I got a lot of scholarship through my college. And so that helped defer the cost even though I left the state of Florida. So that's something to keep in mind. But there's also a ton of websites with a lot of different scholarships, and a lot of them seeking for first generation graduates, and if nobody's ever gone to that institution in your family before. So there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of scholarship money out there to defer your cost of education.
Mm-hmm. And Christine, weren't you involved in like soccer as well?
Yeah, so I grew up playing soccer, and so that was another way in which I volunteered. I helped with a youth soccer team, and I try to do a lot of more physical activities were kind of what I like. So I also helped with Special Olympics in Orlando where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. And so now that we've talked about ways to be successful in getting prepared for college, let's talk about Mcat studying. This is not a one-day thing. You cannot just wake up one day and study for the Mcat. It is going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort on your part. Patricia, can you talk about a little bit about that?
So the key to success on the Mcat is questions, questions, questions. So for my Mcat studying, I use Khan Academy, which is a free online resource that has videos and questions as well. You guys probably use it in high school as well. I know they have high school videos, and I used it along in college for many of my classes, especially science classes, math classes, physics, and just doing those questions and then following it through with the Mcat as well. But for the Mcat, the key is questions, questions, questions.
Mm-hmm. And let's talk about a little bit about a gap year. I mean, some people may not want to go straight from college into medical school. What's life like that?
So I was one of those students that took time off between college and undergrad, and I did a few different things during that time. So I mainly worked as a medical scribe, both in the emergency department and orthopedic office. And so I went around with healthcare providers and I did their note taking for them and saw how they interacted with patients. As well as that, I volunteered at a free healthcare clinic in my area, and so that was a good exposure to helping the underserved and also showing additional volunteering experience. And then I kind of just took some time for myself to travel, see some friends and family, and live a little bit. So that was really nice in that regard, to have a little bit of real life experience, if you want to call it that, before diving into medical school. A big thing that helped me in medical school was I also got a master's degree. But Patricia also has the same experience, but she did a different route than I did.
So what I did is I got a master's in biomedical sciences from Florida Atlantic University, and the master's is actually completely free if you are a graduate teaching assistant. On top of teaching and getting a free master's, you also get a stipend as well. So I took a gap year, but I did the master's with teaching.
All right, free money exists everywhere. So just to close out our talk, we're also going to talk about just successful tips so that way you can be ready for any professional program in healthcare. Christine, you want to touch on that?
Yes. So big things about that is what Patricia already started talking about when using Khan Academy is making sure that your foundation of knowledge is solid. So specifically in medical school, your first 2 years are your basic science courses, and all that information you learn then will be applied to patient cares in your next 2 years and for the rest of your future. And it's pretty much the same for other healthcare fields. So you really want to make sure your foundation is solid because you're going to continue to build upon that. In addition to that, you're going to have to unfortunately learn how to restudy. I know we can all think of ways in which you're like, hey, I was cruising in high school and then what happened in college and then the same thing in med school. And the thing is each step along the way, there's more information and there's a lot more coming at you at once. And so you have to adjust and figure out what's most important, maybe what's a little bit less important, but you still kind of need to know. And so just teasing that apart. With that, you have to stay organized. So we have assignments, you have tests, you have quizzes. There's just a lot of moving parts. And so maybe having a planner or using a virtual calendar like Google Calendar just to keep things organized and know what's going on so you're not in the wrong place at the wrong time or not dressed appropriately because that's never good. Also, one of the things that's important is having the right attitude. So that goes a long way. If you come in and you're not happy, that will reflect and it'll make everything a lot harder for you. But if you're happy and you're eager to learn, it's going to make things a lot better. And with that, one really, really important thing I want to stress is asking for help. So oftentimes we think of asking for help as a sign of weakness, and it's not. It's a strength. You recognize something that you're not good at and you want to improve upon it, so you ask for help. I've come to both Michelle and Patricia and be like, hey, do you understand this topic? Because I'm just not getting it. And then being able to explain it, and we've all come out better because of that. They've re-emphasized their learning and teaching it to me, and then I felt better and understood it. So that goes a long way in asking for help. I think my really big 3 pieces of advice for any field that you're going into, especially in healthcare, is taking care of yourself, prioritizing what's important for you, and then making sure that you go in with the right attitude. And so with your self-care, that could be watching Netflix if you need to, or for me, it's going out to the gym and working out, and you want to make sure you're getting enough sleep and eating well because you have to fuel your brain and you have to let your brain rest at the same time. And then making times with friends and family. So we like to get together and have like a little meal night and just maybe watch a movie and just hang out and like not talk about school, and that's been really nice and making us get through it. So those are my big pieces of advice.
Yeah, so with that, we'll say goodbye and best of luck on all your future endeavors.
Good luck.
Good luck, guys.